As a prospective writer, I would urge you to not only read good books, read terrible books as well, because they can be more inspiring than the good books.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I promise not to bore you with a lot of hot takes or anything like that. Just once in a while, I post my drawings. That's about it. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for the issue we're about to look at. So we're going to do things just a tad bit different. We're going to go back and forth between the original scanned comic book and the digital version. Mostly we're going to go with the digital version, but the digital version for the most part does a good job, but the covers are all the way in the it just Marvel just kind of um Marvel did Marvel things. So we are going to be going through Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman's run on Miracleman. So we're starting with Miracleman #1. I have the trade. Although these issues are not as expensive now that it's back in print for now as they were. Since this story has become a little bit more useful, you can buy these on eBay now for they still cost you a bit, but they don't cost you as much as they used to. So Alan Moore and Garry Leach are the writer artist of this little sucker here. So all right. There was an agreement between Marvel Comics and Alan Moore when they republished this. Alan Moore did not want his name attached to this, so his name will not appear at all in the Marvel collection. It simply says the original writer. So this part is done by the actual original writer, Anglo, I think it was. So it was a newer piece, but made to look like the old days. So that's why you see here stuff being colored outside the line and the dots here. So we're actually going to, this is not Alan Moore doing his stuff. This was Mick Anglo kind of going through, but they wanted to, I guess, lay out what this was before. So we're simply going to keep going here as far as this stuff is. Of course, if you know, this was the company that used to have Miracleman had the rights to Captain Marvel. Then it went to DC, and then DC didn't want them to do Captain Marvel, which is Shazam for those of you who don't know. I still call him Captain Marvel. So they decided to do him, which he's essentially Captain Marvel, but without all the stuff. And then this is instead of saying atomic, he says Kimota, but it's atomic backwards with a K to make sure that you say K. So that is the I don't like the letter C. It's a S and an K. Just uh the English language, I tell you. Uh, so these are all the different Miraclemans, just like the Captain Marvel family or the Marvels or the Shazams or whatever they're called now. To me, they're always the Marvels. Will um, there's quite a few of them, but so it's kind of a long introduction. You know, I probably would have made this like 5 pages, but I think they give him 8. So it's sort of like those that old style stuff. So here we go. The good guys always win, and here's Kid Miracle Man, who is actually the most important character of this whole thing. So here we go. So as I know you, we are going to get now into the serious stuff. Behold, I teach you the Superman. By the way, you can say Superman inside anything. You just can't put him on the cover. So, for example, if you wanted to use the names Superman, you certainly can. He is this lightning. He is this madness. So you can see here, it just keeps going, owing. And so that's from Nitsky. Thus spake, which is spoke, but Zarathustra. So, and here we go. Now we are getting into the Alan Moore bit here. So, this is around the same time as his. Well, it's a little bit after the run on Captain Britain, which, by the way, I have an Alan Moore playlist. Feel free to check that out. The Captain Britain stuff is absolutely crazy. It's just crazy. So, I'll restart here. In the sodium lit hours before dawn, the great trucks roll north. Some carry breakfast cereal, and some carry ball bearings. Some are empty, and some are not. And so one of the truckers say, "Yeah, but like, will guys be all right back there, Steve? I mean." And the other, so the drivers, so this must be in Britain here, I would take it, or in England or somewhere, because they're not the way Americans drive. Americans drive where the passenger is, and so I know the British, it's all reverse. So the driver says, "You mean you're losing your bottle, Trevor? Me old son, of course they'll be all right. It's the plutonium that's bothering you, in it. Listen, we lift it, we sell it, and we hop it. No big deal, Trev. No big deal at all." So the passenger says, "Yeah, but nukes, man. I mean, I thought we'd be selling arms to, like, the people. Nukes are really heavy. Know what I mean?" And so the driver says, "Trevor, you're talking through your posterior." So your butt, for those of you who... "I met a Yank in Angola who said he'd seen one go up at Yucca Flats. He said it was bloody fantastic. He said, 'Steve, mine eyes have seen the glory.' Ain't that a nice way of putting it?" Right, says Trevor. And so, "Mine eyes have seen the glory. Haha, he was a comedian and no mistake. Nice chap. The communists shot him. Shame, really. Yeah." And then in the thought balloon, he goes, "Christ, this guy's a psycho." Through the cold gray dawn, the trucks head north. Somewhere not far away, Michael Moran is screaming. Michael Moran is having the dream again. It isn't a good dream. So here is how the credits kind of showed up in the original. So you can see here a story by Alan Moore, art by Garry Leach. The collection just has everything in the beginning. Like I said, it just says original writer. But each issue, the credits all went through. And you can see the coloring. It's much better. That's why I'm doing the other edition, because it's colored way better. So, but I just kind of wanted to show you. So, Alan Moore and Garry Leach. So we continue here. It's a dream of snow and of fireballs, a dream of death and numbing vertigo, a dream of flying. There is no fear at first, only the eerie keening of the wind, the swirling silent blizzard, and the cold sharp thrill of altitude. Great panel here. And let me tell you, you can complain all you want about modern comic books and coloring and computer coloring, but let me tell you, this is a lot easier to read than the original version. Before Marvel took this, the only digital scans available were people taking the comics and physically scanning them. So there was no files, no nothing. It was, and you saw. So this panel is so much easier to read. The page, the whole book. So, if you want to see the original, and you are a purist, God bless you. But we're going digital here because I do have the omnibus, by the way, because I am such a fan of not just Alan Moore, but Neil Gaiman as well in these stories. So, all right, we continue here. He is not alone. Like firebirds in red and yellow, two other figures soar beside him. He cannot see their faces. By the way, just notice here that we see this person here because he's having a dream. So that this is a dream sequence here. His power courses through through his veins like molten silver. His muscles move with precise grace beneath his skin. He knows he is invincible. It is then that he sees the vast gray shape that floats in the churning white. It is then that the fear starts. So, meaning this here. Contemptuous of gravity, it hangs in empty space before them like a massive bloated spider. Filthy with the soot and oil, it stains the air. Oh, Alan Moore, delicious, delicious. The way and you saw me. If you saw the Captain Britain run that I have, how much I praise Alan Moore's use of the language and his words. Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Chris Claremont, these power writers of the 80s really, 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 God, what a craft. What a time to be alive. So, we'll just go up here. The fear is there, coiled in the stomach as he watches, unable to look away. The spider is laying an egg that burns like the sun. Oh, beautiful. The sky catches fire, and he is screaming and burning. He sees his friend, the one in red. Something bad is happening to him. First he flickers a strobing Doppler image against the snow, and then he explodes. And then there is only the inferno. For him, as he falls inexplicably, a word forms on scorched lips, a dream word with alien syllables. The last thing he hears is the sound of thunder. Real quick, this was originally called Marvelman, but when they came to the States, it had to be changed because they didn't want. I don't know whether Marvel made it, but they just said it's not worth the trouble. So it from Marvelman, it went to Miracleman, which, by the way, I think I like it more. So, and he screams no. So he wakes up. Great use. What a panel! Look at this. This is just awesome. And so the girl next to him says, Mike, what's wrong? And I had that dream again, Liz. I'm sorry I woke you. Oh, Mike. And look at him. The despair. Oh, comic books, I tell you, the medium. Oh, Christ, I got a migraine too. And he's already dressed. Chick's still naked. So, shall I phone the paper and tell them you can't make the Larksmere assignment? Maybe they could send someone else. And Mike says, it's too late to do that. Anyway, I make little enough out of this freelance journalism as it is. I can't afford to throw away work just because I've got a headache. Very good. And so, it's not just the headaches, Mike's. What about the dreams? You've been having them for years. Maybe if you slowed down a little. And Mike says, Liz, we've been through all this before. Your job nearly keeps us both as it is. I should be the one who earns money, not you. The dreams don't matter anyway. He kind of says matter-of-factly. And Liz says, that's a silly attitude, Mike. It doesn't matter who earns the money as long as... And he walks away here. Liz, please. I know you mean well, but I'd just as soon drop the subject. Anyway, I better get going. If I want to be in Larksmere by 10, I've got to catch an early train. So, Larksmere, I'm not familiar with British geography. So, could that be outside of London? I don't know. So, train now standing at a platform. So that's the thing here. So he continues thinking, I shouldn't have just slouched out like that. Liz is right. I'm not in any shape for work today. That migraine. I could just about take, but not the dream. So this guy's in a hurry. Um, why can't I figure out what it means? Recurring dreams must mean something. If only I could remember that damn word. Kimono? No. Komodo? No. Krakatoa? Nah, that's awesome. No, Jesus, this headache. I hope it's gone before I arrive at. And so, oh, sorry, Paul. I just wasn't. Oh, Larksmere. And so this guy's yelling here. So he's like a photographer, and so his name is Paul, and of course we have Mike here, who's like the reporter. So Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen, and so Paul, I've got a headache. I'm trying to cover the opening of in my own way, and I'd appreciate it if you'd um like those guys there with machine guns. I can't see any machine guns, and so we go down to this panel before going up there. Um, all right, if any of you security people start acting up, we fire on the crowd. Drop your guns, and there'll be no violence. And look at this great stuff. So, good. Now I'd like everyone to sit down with their hands on their heads. If you feel the urge to scratch or stretch, I'd advise you to suppress it. The gentlemen on the press will escort us into the power station. If everyone behaves, they'll escort us out again. And so, hey, as a representative of the alternative press, I demand to know what's going on. And so you can see Mike and Paul here walking out. You'll find out at the press conference inside. Now move it, man, or I'll have to shoot you. Press conference. Who are these people? Says Paul. So now we're inside here. Gentlemen, you are privileged to be present at a historic occasion, the world's first plutonium hijack. A little less noise, please. I want you to hear all the details so that you can convey them to your editors, to your readers, and to our prospective customers. The publicity angle is very important. We will leave here in 10 minutes with a number of plutonium isotopes. Nobody will stop us. The plutonium, easily enough to make a score of hydrogen bombs, will be auctioned among the world's terrorist organizations. And so we got another here. The words clatter. The migraine bites down. The room begins to spin. All around him there are voices, some pleading, some angry. Hey man, hey, this man's sick. He needs air. He's right, Steve. The guy looks like he's gonna die. We better get him outside. And then he is being manhandled down a corridor. He feels dizzy. There is fear in his stomach. This sick that better not be a snow job, chum. You understand? Is that cocaine? I think that they mean cocaine. That I know cocaine was called snow in the 80s. There was also blow in the 90s. So, it reminds him of a dream, and he says snow. He's dragged through a swing door. Glass glints. A legend flickered out from the haze, and so we got only, I don't know, the words are upside down. Suddenly the word is there, swimming through him, blurred through the fog and nausea, but as recognizable as any. So here it is, atomic. And he sees atomic again. His lips move. The word is barely a whisper. Kimoda, he kind of says. And suddenly, boom! The whisper is drawn by the thunder. The screams of the man called Steve are lost in the sudden flood of light. His face is seared and blistered. His eardrums have burst. His eyes have seen the glory. And this guy's like, oh, Jesus, Jesus, I'm blind. I can't see. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And Steve, are you all right? We heard that bang. Who the hell are you? Me? I'm Miracleman. I'm Miracleman. I remember now, says Miracleman. So Mike is Miracleman here. Miracle, huh? Okay, Miracleman. Let's keep this cool. Let's just tell us what you did to Steve, and we won't hurt you. They speak Californian. No, you won't hurt me. I'm Miracleman. So I said, stay back. You think I'm stupid, man? You're with the SAS, right? Well, I ain't scared of you people. You're pigs, and pigs get barbecued. And here you see him fire bullets. And so from there, I think we go here. Oh, Jesus, look at him. I'm shooting at him, and he's smiling. This isn't happening. This guy's not human. That's right, I'm not human. And I think we go here, and then he does his little thing here. I'm Miracleman, and he kind of claps like the Hulk and knocks them all out. It's beautiful here. He swings his hands together, and thunder bursts between them. And then there is silence, deathly silence. 18 years trapped in that old tired body. It doesn't matter. I'm Miracleman, and I'm back. So, sorry, it's over now. And so the beginning. So this originally this collected like these came out I think in weekly installments, and then when they came over to continuity, they collected them like four per issue. So we continue. We're still in issue 1. So we're not gonna read all this. This is just the reporter saying about Miracleman, and you can see Liz was kind of sleeping here, and then Mike, that you? I must have dozed off. I didn't hear you come in. How did it go at Larkspur? And then all of a sudden, Miracleman is right there. I love MM. Oh my God, who are you? Listen, I don't know what you want, but my husband will be back at any moment. He's Miracleman. Love that. He looks like a god. The words dry up, turning to ash in her mouth. Your husband is back. It's me, Liz. It's Mike. Listen, you've got 1 minute to get out of here before I call the police. So Liz, she's dreaming. Even as she backs away, she knows she is dreaming. What are you saying? You're not my husband. No, he isn't. He can't be. And yet, look at me, Liz. Look at, no, sorry, not my body. Look at me. And yet the voice, the eyes, says Liz. And so it's been 16 years since Liz Sullivan married Michael Moran. She knows him with her eyes, her ears, her body. She knows him. And yet, Mike? Mike, what happened to you? She says. He holds her, and his touch is frictionless as mercury, and restrained power in his arms make her feel like glass. Sit down, I'll make some coffee. And she's like, thank you. I'll make some coffee. The words are so mundane, so reassuringly normal, yet he looks like a god, she says. And so now over coffee, you can see here. Okay, wherever I start, this will sound unbelievable, so I may as well go straight in the deep end. When I was 14 in 1954, I was a boy. Sorry, I was working as a copy boy for a paper called the Daily Bugle. That's a different Daily Bugle than the Marvel Daily Bugle, but I worked hard and made a little money, and one night I had a vision, his voice like a pool of gold, dazzling, mesmeric. As he describes the dreamlike evening, 27 years pass, his vision becomes hers. And so here you can see this. This was done not with zipatones, I believe, and dual tones and shading like that. So, and then probably white media to put this in there. So this is supposed to be the Captain Marvel wizard. That's at least who it's supposed to be. So, she sees the copy boy cowering right before the impossible specter that had conjured itself from night. And so, holy macaroni, says the kid. So you can see how much bigger he is. And so we're just gonna skip here. He basically gives him the powers of Captain Marvel and turns them into Miracleman. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He does everything that Captain Marvel does. He did. So basically, he can turn himself from kid to back and forth. So anyway, Liz says, Or sorry, Mike says, Liz, you're laughing. What's wrong? And she goes, I'm sorry, Mike, but that's such a bloody, stupid story. She says, can't you see it? An astrophysicist pops up and tells you the key harmonics of the universe, which just happened to turn you into Muscle Man into a blue leotard. I'm sorry, I really am, but that's just so stupid. And he says, I suppose you're right. Actually, saying it out loud like that, it does sound, well, pretty unlikely. I've never thought about it before, but I had to believe it. Don't you see? I was Miracleman. I was a being of almost unlimited power, and I wasn't the only one. Within a year, I was joined by another young man with atomic powers like mine. His name was Dickie Dauntless. You're laughing, man. You're laughing again, he says. Oh, Mike, Liz says off panel. Dickie Dauntless, that was his name? Come off it. I'm sorry. Please go on. So, what a great writer Alan Moore is. So, Dickie only had to say the word Miracle Man, and he became young Miracle Man. He had powers like mine. He was my friend. I like that. YM. We fought crime together until 1956 when we were joined by Miracle Dog, she says. Liz, please. This may, damn it, this does sound silly in 1982, but in the 50s it made perfect sense. This is how I remember it. This is how it happened. 1956, we were joined by Johnny Bates. He was a little kid of maybe 7 or 8 when we said my name, he became Kid Miracleman. Uh, they called us the Miracle Man family. So during the years we were together, we fought the strangest villains of all times. Villains like Firebug and Young Nasty Man. Don't say a word. And the most troublesome of the lot, a freakish dwarf genius called Dr. Gargunza. So, like Black Adam. So this guy here would be Black Adam. And time and time again, we sorted his insane plan and jailed him, but somehow he always came back. And I think this is supposed to be Dr. Savannah. I am not too familiar with Shazam, so you'll have to forgive me. So, and yet he never did anything really evil. It was almost as if we were all playing a game which neither side took entirely seriously. Then how do you expect me to? Look, I'll accept the fact that you're somehow a foot taller, you're 20 years younger, and you're still my husband. Lord knows why. I just will. But all this other stuff, Miracle Man, family, Young Nasty Man, Mike, if there really had been a Miracle Man in the 50s, wouldn't I have heard of him? I don't know. Maybe they hushed it up or something because of what happened in 1963. Don't tell me a couple more Miracle boys turned up and formed a football team. Damn you, Liz, you're laughing at my life. And he slams his fist. You can see it there. And she's like, whoa, I'm pissing this guy off. I shouldn't be doing that. The flooring is solid oak. He splintered it to match wood. So, and she believes, I'm sorry, I didn't realize when I saw you. It doesn't matter, even if all I've said so far sounds like a joke. What happened in 63 most definitely wasn't. So, it was one day in October when the Miracleman family received the alert. Gargunza had some kind of sky fortress hovering over the North Sea. It was snowing as we set off, snowing hard, but we were in high spirits. It was a game just like others. No one ever got hurt. So, just let you know that when you have to read up and then down, it's not, most people want to go like this to here, then, So, I just remember from listening to Cartoonist Kayfabe how hard it is to read things when you don't have a proper order because your eyes always want to go here. So most people, even if you had it, your eyes would still go here. So always remember, if you're ever writing or drawing, you want to make your flow. You don't want to put this at the bottom. If anything, you want to lower the panel and put this underneath them. So We saw the fortress hanging in the sky like a bloated spider. Straight away, my flesh began to crawl. Something was horribly wrong. I hung back. I knew there was something terrible concealed in that thing, then something that could hurt us. I tried to warn the others, but it was no use. It was a bomb, Liz. A bomb. It wasn't a game anymore. So, great panel here. The blast hit me. It hurt. Nothing had ever hurt me before. As I fell, I started to black out. But before I did, I caught a sight of Dickie. Dickie with the stupid name. There were two of him, two bodies crushed into one, and he was screaming. I could hear him, but he was screaming. Oh. When I woke up, it was 2 months later. I was Mick Moran, and I was in the hospital. I'd found in the I'd been found in the Suffolk marshes with terrible burns and most of my bones broken. I managed to piece my life back together again as little Mickey Moran, but I didn't remember that I had been Miracleman, not until nearly 20 years later, not until this morning at the power station. Then that story on the news about the flying man, that was you? Asked Liz. Drink your coffee before it gets cold and I'll tell you about it. As Liz Moran listens, eyes wide with fear and wonder, her coffee grows cold. Anyway, and she believes. So, while in the darkened office not too far away, and so again with the reporters here, you can see a digital clock. Miracleman, he's back to spoil everything, and he hits the whoever this person is, he hits that desk, breaking it. A door slams shut, a TV bobbles into an empty room. It has begun, and may the Lord have mercy upon us all. So, all right, so we got 2 short stories left on that first issue here. So, a bitter February, sunlight falls on Liz Moran, warm asleep and 36 years old. Liz Moran, formerly Elizabeth Sullivan, professional illustrator and devoted wife, married 16 years. Her life is happy, comfortable, and resolved. It has been long time since Liz Moran was surprised by who she woke up next to. So, looks like Miracleman still hot for her. So, her skin remembers a touch that crackled like bare wires. Her eyes remember his eerie phosphorescent grace. She remembers the night before, and she believes. She walks from the bedroom to the lounge, drifting small feet silently on thick carpet. The china ornament, the polished wood of the tabletop, touching, she reestablishes contact with the world, slowly retrieving her sense of, and then the phone rings. Reality. Oh, so sorry. See what I mean? Look at this. Passing as she touches things. Just, oh goodness gracious. So I missed this part. You see, it goes from here to here. You don't know to look here. It's not bad writing. It's bad composition, or composition of the art. And I would never do that myself. It just doesn't. So, reality. And if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have noticed that you're supposed to go down here and that there were more words. So you see, I kind of just glanced at this and then went straight here. So, hello, yes, that's right. I'm Mrs. Moran. Who did you say? I'm afraid he's still asleep. Did you want to ring back, or no, that's all right. I'll call him Miracleman. So we're looking at that little trope now already. So Mike, he won't be a moment. I think I can hear him getting out of and then Shrek bed. So he turns over. He's just coming. I'll hand you over to him. So we're now going down here. Hello, yeah, this is Mike Moran. That's right. Listen, I'm sorry, but I didn't get your name. Who did? Oh, you're joking, Johnny. I don't believe it. I thought you were dead. And so, how did you saw that item on the news? Yeah, wasn't it? But how did you survive that? Oh, the phone? No, I'm sure I understand, but, can I see you? I know the place. You own it? Jesus Christ, no. Uh, I just, yes, of course, we'll be. Bye. So they're having a conversation there. So they're going to meet each other. It's just when you see it. So, um, but when you read it, sorry, not see it. When you read it, it does sound kind of funny because we're just getting one side of the conversation. So, well, I think we better skip breakfast and shower ready to go out. We've been invited to lunch by the president of Sunburst Cybernetics, Mr. Jonathan Bates, formerly Kid Miracleman, when Johnny comes marching home. So, here's the corporation that the Kid Miracleman owns. So, this is just incredible. I mean, that he's still alive is incredible, but owning Sunburst Cybernetics really into the bargain. That's really um and so they're over here. A lot more fun than being dead. Rats, look at the sky. I thought it was gonna be a nice today. So that is a good design of a building. So I like that. Um Thunderheads, iron black and blue, distance. The air suddenly dry and heavy. The sky holds its breath. It's coming this way. It's a monster. And so his office is on the top floor. They knock. He calls them in. He stands before a picture window. London sprawled submissively behind him. He smiled as he speaks. Mike, it's good to see you. John, oh, Jesus, he says. The crackling darkness rolls toward them across the sky like a great black bull, stupid with pain, its flanks pierced by silver darts. It's coming this way. So, a girl brings them Blue Mountain coffee, and they talk about all the strangeness in their lives. They speak softly. It's been 18 years. And for all that time, you had no idea that who you really were. That's incredible. 18 years. To think it's been 18 years since that day when we all flew out together. So, Into the Snow, October 12th, 1963, 18 years ago. As I recall, I was in the lead, so I was the first to approach that thing. I swooped low over the decks, looking for some kind of life. Nothing, no noise, no movements, just snow drifting against the gray steel. And then suddenly I got a strange tingling sensation. I knew that something terrible was just about to happen. Every nerve in my body was screaming for me to get out of here. In a panic, I veered wildly into the sky. Higher and higher, I climbed, faster and faster. I nearly didn't make it. Like you, I woke up in the hospital several days later, suffering from a concussion and burns. Only I hadn't lost my memory. I just lost my powers. For 7 brief years, I've been something more than human. Then, all of a sudden, the magic went away. I was human again, and my friends were dead, or so I thought. It was difficult to adjust at first to being an ordinary 16-year-old kid again. But I did. I had to. I discovered I was good with electronics and eventually decided to set up a small business working from a rented accommodation to save my life. I did well, phenomenally well. Within 7 years, I'd managed to found Sunburst Cybernetics. We've been very lucky. We made a lot of money. Now, 9 years later, we have branches all over the globe. Ironic, isn't it? To have lost one sort of power only to find another. One which has its responsibilities, I'm afraid. Liz, Mike, you'll excuse me for 5 minutes. There's some letters that need signing. Go ahead, John. We're fine, he says. So, well, what do you think of well, anyway, what do you think to him? Um, what do you think? I think he's fascinating, magnetic, and quite sexy in a sinister sort of way. Lucky for you, I prefer ugly men. What about you? You haven't seen him since he was 16. Has he changed much? Yes. Yes, he has. He's changed a lot. He returns, he talks wonderfully, his voice soft and yet powerful, like the tread of a stalking tiger. Unlike Mike Moran, uneasy Mike Moran can hear it, prowling around the perimeter of their conversation, a tiger circling, closing in. It's coming this way. It's a monster. Anyway, enough about me. How about some lunch? Yeah, sure. Liz, you think I could just speak to John alone for a moment? Liz Moran nods, smiling, as the two men step out into the balcony. She wonders what Mike needs to say that was not for her ears. Superhero talk. Storm's brewing up nicely. It's a beauty, isn't it? And Miracleman says, John, I listened to your story just now. Rags to riches, redemption through honest toil. It's a great story. I really wanted to believe it, John. But then halfway through, I got a funny idea into my head. I thought, what if he's lying? I tried to get rid of it. I tried, but I couldn't. This panel here looks so ominous. And right here, I don't know if you notice, it looks like a mouth. Eyes and then the mouth. Just beautiful. I thought, what if he didn't lose his powers? What if he survived that blast and took me out and Dickie and was still Kid Miracleman? Oh. I tried to imagine what it would be, what it feel like to be 16 years old and most powerful creature on the face of the planet, to be answerable to no one. You could do anything, John. You'd never need to turn back to dull, weak human Johnny Bates ever again. Oh, sure, you could take his name, his identity, but you could stay as Kid Miracleman forever. You could have it all: money, prestige, fame. You could sever all your links with humanity. You could become remorseless, unstoppable, a totally corrupt. Is that it, John? Is that what happened? You're still Kid Miracleman, aren't you? I can tell by your voice, by the way you stand, you're not human, John. I can feel it. Tiger, and so again, this is the narrator here. Tiger eyes circling, dark clouds getting closer. So we of course know. Dark clouds scudding into his mind, vast and smoldering. A tiger voice, soft and in the juddering heart of the storm. Oh, I love Alan Moore's writing. So it's so descriptive, so good. Mike, you're being paranoid. Don't you see that? Says Kid Miracleman. Paranoid, but yes, I suppose you're right. I don't know. So difficult to think all of a sudden. So hard to. John, are you doing something to my mind? And so I love this here. It's here, black and terrible inside his skull. Its tendrils roll behind his eyes, dragging him down into the dark with no distractions. Mike, I'm sorry, but if we don't leave soon, the car will have a ticket and the clouds, no interruptions when she walks in, so that distracts him momentarily. The clouds withdraw, uncertain for a moment. A light of reason floods into his mind once more. He suddenly knows what he must do. Mike, you pushed him. And that doesn't help. So, you pushed him over the balcony. Mike, what have you? Oh. And so, the cold lightning of fear skewers them, and they feel the terrible hunger in the heart of the storm. Oh God, they see the smile on the face of the tiger. Goodness gracious, what a way to start an issue. Absolutely riveting. Love the zipitones and duotones being used here. Oh, this is going to be so great. Hope you guys like it. I love Alan Moore, and there's not a lot of Miracleman on YouTube. I searched and there just wasn't any. There's cartoonist kayfabe. They covered it, and then that's it. So hope you guys enjoy this. So Miracle number 1 by Alan Moore and Garry Leach. This was released in 1986 by Comico, but the stories were actually released in 1982 in Britain. So, God, I hope you guys enjoy this. I truly do. So, like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.